Hi everyone. Good afternoon, good evening, wherever you may be. I am here at Gulmohar Park in Delhi, and I would like to welcome all the participants for the Mahara Rohtak competition. Mahara Rohtak in English translates to R Rohtak. It's basically a design competition that's meant for students of architecture across India and also students from other professions too. Today's day, we will first start with an introduction to the Botnar project by Nikhil. So I will hand it over to him now. Nikhil, over to you.
Thank you, Advait. Hello everyone, I am Nikhil from WRI and I will quickly give you brief about background to the Child and Youth Safety Project WRI India has convened in Rohtak, Haryana. The project is a part of Botnar Child Road Safety Challenge, a program designed to address locally relevant road safety problems that affect children in small and mid-sized cities in 7 priority countries with practical, innovative, multi-sectorial and evidence-based interventions. The challenge is managed by the Global Road Safety Partnership, a hosted program of International Federation of Red Cross and Red Crescent Societies and based in Geneva, Switzerland. Foundation Botnar is a Swiss foundation established in 2003 with the core purpose of improving the health and well-being of children and young people in growing secondary cities around the world. To achieve this, Foundation Botnar acts as a catalyst, connecting diverse partners and investing in solutions that leverage Thank you, Advait. Hello everyone, I am Nikhil from WRI. I will quickly give you brief background to the Child and Youth Safety Projects WRI India has convened in Rohtak, Haryana. The project is part of Botnar Child Road Safety Challenge, a program designed to address locally relevant road safety problems that affect children in small and mid-sized cities in 7 priority countries with practical, innovative, multi-sectorial and evidence-based interventions. The challenge is managed by Global Road Safety Partnership, a hosted program of International Federation of Red Cross and Red Crescent Societies and based in Geneva, Switzerland. Foundation Botnar is a Swiss foundation established in 2003 with the core purpose of improving the health and well-being of children and young people in growing secondary cities around the world. To achieve this, Foundation Botnar acts as a catalyst, connecting diverse partners and investing in solutions that leverage artificial intelligence and digital innovation. The Global Road Safety Partnership is a hosted program of the International Federation of Red Cross and Red Crescent Societies and based in Geneva, Switzerland. Its mission is the sustainable reduction of road crash death and injury in low and middle income countries. GRSP does this by creating and supporting multi-sector road safety partnerships that are engaged with frontline good practice road safety interventions in countries and communities throughout the world. In recent years, children and youth have become the biggest victim of road crashes. According to WHO's Global Status Report on Road Safety 2018, road traffic injuries are the leading cause of death for children and young adults aged between 5 and 29. The Botnar Child Road Safety Challenge was launched to address this pressing issue. Rohtak in Haryana was one of the 12 cities across the globe and one of the 2 cities in India that was selected for support under this project. In the first phase, starting 2018, WRI India, in partnership with Rohtak Police, Municipal Corporation of Rohtak and NASCOM Foundation initiated Safer Commute for School Children project in Rohtak. The vision of the project was to transform Rohtak into a city where children can travel safely on the road either by foot, cycle, or transit, and irrespective of whether they are accompanied by an adult or not. To achieve this, we adopted two-pronged approach, that is, improve road safety infrastructure, capacity building and outreach. In phase 1, to improve road safety infrastructure for school-going children, WRI India partnered with 5 schools in Rohtak to understand the general concern of children when they commute in the city and subsequently decide how we can address these concerns through our project. For this, WRI India conducted mobility study in which involved focus group discussions with more than 4,500 children, their parents, teachers to assess mobility pattern and risk profile for the school children, and transport data collection and analysis to identify high-risk zones around the school. After identifying these high-risk locations around the school, WRI India then conducted detailed survey and came up with the preliminary design, which were tested on 10 high-risk locations through tactical urbanism. After testing all preliminary designs on ground, WRI India designed 13-kilometer stretch to make commute for school-going children safe and submitted the same to concerned authorities for permanent execution. Simultaneously, WRI India conducted capacity building workshops for police personnel, municipal corporation officers and engineers to sensitize them towards road safety, especially around the school. Various awareness programs were also conducted to raise road safety awareness among people. These are the key highlights from Phase 1 project, in which WRI India interviewed over 4,500 school children across Rohtak city to understand the issue faced by them while commuting in the city. Over 7,500 people were direct beneficiaries of this project. WRI India redesigned 13-kilometer stretch to make commute of school-going children safe. Furthermore, over 200 city officials were trained and over 5,000 citizens were made aware about road safety through Ragiri Days. Thank you all. Now I will hand over to Advait to start a conversation with Ms. Sujata.
Thanks, Nikhil, for the introduction. Now we are going to have a one-on-one conversation with a very special guest. It's Sujata Hingorani. She is actually a landscape architect and co-founder partner of Oasis Designing, which is a multidisciplinary firm of architects, urban designers, and landscape architects. Her firm has been engaged in various scales of projects ranging from planning new TOD townships, smart cities, streetscapes, public landscapes, and plazas, in addition to the regular private commissions. The work integrates sustainable urban design concepts into creating vibrant public realms and ecologically sensitive urban spaces. Retrofitting best practices into our existing cities is a focus area of her work. This includes creating better last-mile connectivity options in the form of pedestrians and cycling infrastructure, opting for more sustainable landscape-based solutions for stormwater and water management, and finally looking at all the public realm of our cities holistically so that these become more active, interactive, and work towards sorting out some of the problems faced by our current cities. I would now like to welcome Sujata.
Hi,
Hey,
how are you?
good.
Hello.
All right. So, thanks, Sujata, once again. Welcome to the
Thank you.
panel discussion, or rather one-on-one conversation. It's
Happy
great
to
to
be
have.
here.
Yes,
Near this beautiful monument.
yes. I'm sort of also very happy that we managed to have a really beautiful day here. Nice sunlight, no rain, and one of the really beautiful public spaces of Delhi. So, starting with that, my I think let's start with an icebreaker session, a simple thing just to know you a little better. What's your favorite public space in Delhi or anywhere for that matter? And why do you think, what makes it so special for you?
So, public space, my favorite, I would say, is a place which you can kind of just go to and without being, it's not like a destination space, rather a move through space. So, very difficult to find those kind of spaces, especially in Delhi nowadays. But for example, if you look at a place like Orchard Street, Singapore, so that is a move through public space, and it's got shopping, retail, as well as a vibrant, uh, interaction space around. So all those kind of spaces, the move through spaces, are something that we like to look at and focus on as part of. Otherwise, if you look at nice vibrant spaces in Delhi, Cyber Hub, Aerocity, Delhi Heart, so these are nice public spaces, but then you have to go to those spaces, as in like you have to enter those spaces. So
All right.
yes, yeah.
That's good. So there's a good variety of it, but I think I've got the idea. So
Hmm.
the next question for you is, I think you mentioned some of the features. So what are the big main principles that make a space more vibrant or make it more accessible? What are the principles that you follow as an architect, a landscape, or even Oasis follows
Yeah.
as its philosophy?
So basically, the public space should be at the right place. For example, if you're moving from your house to your place of work, or from your place of work to another place, so it should be a part of that ecosystem instead of just being there somewhere in the city.
Hmm.
So as a public, I should be able to encounter those spaces, and those places should be safe. They can be part of a street, they can be edge of a park, they can be it can be a shopping street. So it is like any place that you encounter while moving through. Of course, those can be destination spaces also, but it'll be great if the space is located at key locations within my movement pattern, in a way. Yeah.
Okay. So now the thing is, we are having this discussion mainly for students of architecture, who are going to now participate in the Mahara Rohtak competition.
Mm.
A lot of them, of course, will be freshers. Some of them are still students. Some of them have just maybe gone into their masters, so not as much experience on ground. And I think I'm sure they're going to look at this discussion and see what all they can pick up. So
Yes.
what is it that you would like to tell them on, what if they're going to design a public space, what is it that they should look out for?
Generally, what we also look at is that we should not categorize a space as a park or a street,
Absolutely.
or a space which is like kind of got a boundary wall or an edge. So the edges and all should be kind of responding to your, for example, if you have a street, the street edge is as important a player in the whole scenario than just the street itself. So in terms of how the response of the edges are to the any public space is something which uh, the students should look at. So the land use matters,
Absolutely.
then the edge conditions, how the response of the boundary edges are. And also what happens is that people don't understand what is a public space and a private space. For example, anything which is outside a boundary of any owner's property
Yep.
is a public space in a way. So what we try to do in our projects is aggregate that space. Once we get that whole space, once the aggregate is there in front of us, then we kind of allocate the spaces accordingly. For example, if you have a street which is with a lot of unoptimized carriageway, so on the junction you get a lot of space. Once you optimize your carriageway and do the geometrical alignment and everything, then you get a lot of space. So that you should not give it out for carriageway. That becomes like your captive public space, which is next to the property and it is not part of the island which is not going to be maybe used. So where the location of that space is with respect to your footpath is very important. Like if it is right next to the footpath, not as part of the island, then it's better. Then it's more used.
Okay.
So
Yep, that makes sense. I think yes. So, what you basically mentioned, one is of course a lot of you mentioned is the qualitative data. You know, that's what you mentioned: land use, edge condition, what is the boundary,
Yes.
how do you optimize space? Basically, seeing how much is being used versus how much is being unused.
yes.
What are there any important quantitative data sets that you collect in OSS, or you think the
So,
students should always be
Actually, the data that we are told to collect in most of our project is traffic volume counts
course.
and all of those things. So actually, it really does not make real sense because you have a fixed amount of space in a street or any part of the city. Now you have to allocate it equitably. Now, if because of your traffic count, if you need another extra lane, then you compromise on your footpath space or whatever. So you have to optimize as per whatever is there available. And then in terms of the data that you have to collect, maybe pedestrian counts, origin destination surveys. So all of those are more important. Like how people move from one place to another, rather than where the cars are going or the other vehicles are going. So that really does not make sense. So those kind of data, and then another thing that we have realized in some of our projects, like in JM Road, we've realized that in terms of saleability of shops and all, it's become better. But we don't
Absolutely.
have the quantification of that, what was there earlier and what is there right now. So it'll be good to find out maybe the rates of the shops or rates of properties that is that was before and what is the current situation now. So
Absolutely. Thank you for that. So now the thing is, thanks to COVID, we are all in a very virtual environment, and the Mara Rohtak competition is also going to be sort of in a virtual environment. I think the students that may be able to visit the sites are going to be the ones who are living in Rohtak currently. The majority of them will be viewing drone footage that we are going to give them, photographs, walkthrough. Now, how does one go about this? You know, is there any tips that you would like to give the students
I
on?
feel Google Earth is a very good starting point. Like
Okay.
in our time, we never used to have Google Earth. So Google Earth is a good starting point, and if you get all the land use data and everything, so you get to know that what is the public and the private property allocation. So you can really find out if you want a specific area in terms of your intervention, then you can look at that in detail in terms of your plan. I don't know if you have the GIS data.
Yes, we are giving them AutoCAD drawings,
Yeah.
total station surveys, and
Yeah.
drone footage
Yeah.
of the stretch.
So it will be good for you to tell them that the ownership, the land ownership, for you to, for them to understand
All right.
what kind of.
Okay, so it doesn't seem that difficult, I'm guessing. So it is possible, and the
It is
students.
possible, but what I feel is for us, when we do any project, the more we go to a place, then we get into the spirit of the place. So I
Absolutely.
feel that if the kids can go to the place, then you can understand the small nuances of that place, which is particularly of that space. So it's very important if they can go once, then it will be good, because you can make a street anywhere. It should not be that it can be anywhere. Rather,
True.
it should be of that particular place.
Absolutely, absolutely. Okay, so now just one more thing regard to as a jury member for this competition. What are your expectations out of the proposals that are going to be sent in? What do you think should be the basics, and what do you think is the plus one that will take it above that you would expect from members?
I think the spirit of the place, if they can capture the spirit, and there are certain negotiables and non-negotiables. So like if you understand that movement is one of your non-negotiable, how you take out the the walking pathway and carve out the spaces. So the public space has to be of prime importance rather than the vehicular space. So all of those things without really compromising on the vehicular also. So you have to look at all the aspects and um, yeah. So obviously creativity in terms of how you look at a space, I think will
That
be
matters a
nice.
lot.
Yeah, you can do so much with a public space. So just
All right. And in terms of their presentation techniques, the skill set, you think there should be some minimum criteria that is expected out of students?
yeah.
Yeah.
Actually, it is important for you to get the scale of the space. So, in terms of your presentation, if you are not getting the scale of your footpath and the person, the size of your various features and the so obviously we'll get to know that you've really not gone into the project in detail. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Now coming back to just the last couple of questions, I think coming back to the reality of things, what are the major challenges that you face? I think, and this is important because we do want the proposals to be realistic. If we want to submit them to the government. So
Yes.
as students and kids in academic field, the imagination can go wild, but what would you say to them to bring
The
them down to
biggest
ground?
challenge that we face is the biggest one is that people, the authorities don't want to compromise on the vehicular carriageway space. Even if we tell them that, yeah, this is unoptimized and you require less, but they are like totally stuck on that. All the free lefts and all, like, where you don't even require. So that is one challenge, and then the multiplicity of agencies is another challenge. In which, if you want to do things in a street as well as a park, maybe you want to do it together, but you can't because the park is with somebody else and the street is with somebody else. So that is something that yeah, we face, and then engaging with the authorities. Is a big challenge right now. What we are facing in some of our street design project is engaging with the shopkeepers
Okay.
and the residents. That the shopkeepers are saying that they want a service road in front of the shops, whereas there is no requirement of a service road. So all of those things we have to keep on engaging with them, and then maybe making smaller patches just to show them what we are going to do, and then also finding a middle ground. Sometimes if they don't agree, then you have to kind of find a middle ground and do something which appeases them as yeah. So
All right. I think these are important things for all the students out there. That while you can let your imagination run wild, it still has to be grounded to reality. Because if we want the project to be executed on ground, there has to be certain fundamentals that have to be answered before we go about doing the design. All right, so just one, I think we're pretty much at the end. So, one last question. This is again through your experience over the years. Do you see any major fundamental changes or fundamental change or differences between public spaces in tier 1 cities and tier 2 cities? Are there any major difference in the way people use it or the way they are designed, or what a city wants out of a public space?
see, like as human beings, we all are the same in a way,
Yeah.
and I think we do all want public space psychologically. So it should not be uh, different, but generally it is a little different because maybe the money allocated for bigger cities is more and for smaller cities is less.
Hmm.
Though the requirement for people to use the public space would be similar. So that is something that we should maybe relook
Good.
and have certain strategies of having maybe some allocation which is there for the basic infrastructure, and then some top-ups can happen in the bigger cities or whatever. So
All right. Okay, so I am pretty much done with my questions. Let me just check if anybody else has any questions from the who are there online right now. So we have one question from Pratik. So his question is, how do you approach understanding the spirit of the place? Is it through art
Yes.
or through ethnographic methods?
So, spirit of the place is again like you can say a vague term, but for example, this park, this is the spirit of the place, you know. So if you're going to a place like Mumbai, the Mumbai locals, all of those are kind of, you know, what you recognize a city from or a place from. In Pune, we were doing the Deccan area, so the spirit of the place was the green, the rain trees, the youth, the vibrant youth, the colleges which were there. So it can be spirit which is tangible. The spirit can be intangible. Like in Coimbatore, when we went and started doing our projects, we could just see the hills and the lakes. We understood that is the potential of the place. So you have to kind of identify. So it can be a potential at a city-wide scale, or it can be a potential at a more zoomed-in kind of a scale. So, and then the reflection of that should come in your design. Then only that synergies happen, real synergies happen in terms of place making, you can say.
All right. Okay. Thank you so much for that, Sujata. I think we are done with the questions also. So thanks again for
Thank you.
joining in. I'm pretty sure this is a great learning experience for all the students that are going to be participating here. And now I think I'm going to hand it over back to Nikhil to sort of give a detailed description of how we're going to go about this competition. Thank you again for joining, and over to you, Nikhil.
Thank you, Advait. I will quickly give you all a brief presentation about Safer Mobility for Youth project and why we are launching the design competition. In July 2020, WRI India initiated the second phase of Botna Child Road Safety Challenge program, Safer Mobility for Youth. Project in Rohtak in partnership with District Administration of Rohtak, Rohtak Police and Rahagiri Foundation. The vision of the project is to ensure safer mobility for youth in Rohtak by improving access to safer mobility around college campuses and increase participation on safer mobility for youth among all stakeholders. The two objectives of the project are to improve access to safer mobility for youth, particularly around college campuses, through the enactment of mode-specific interventions and improving public spaces. Within this objective, WRI India will improve availability of safer mobility alternatives, in which WRI India will prioritize two modes of transport predominantly used by the youth for mode-specific interventions to make them safer to use and more safely accessible for youth. These interventions will cover infrastructural elements, regulatory frameworks, enforcement strategies, and so on. The second objective is to increase participation on safer mobility for youth among all stakeholders by developing the capacity of city officials and simultaneously enabling youth to become change makers. Within this objective, WRI India will develop capacity of city stakeholders as giving priority to the safety of youth on roads, which is a novel concept for many. The intent of this stakeholder engagement is to sensitize technical and non-technical stakeholders towards road safety. A key component of the project is to encourage youth to become change maker by directly engaging them in the project. With that in mind, on 25th June 2021, WRI India launched Safe Rohtak Challenge, calling youth in India to innovate technological solutions for improving the safety and mobility of youth. Taking that forward, WRI India is today launching this placemaking competition for young architects and urban practitioners to reimagine public spaces in Rohtak. The objectives of the competition are to provide young designers with an opportunity to reimagine public spaces as a means of improving the quality of lives of citizens, especially youth, to encourage Rohtak to develop safer, inclusive, and people-centric public spaces. Through public consultations and surveys, WRI India has identified 9 public spaces in Rohtak city where the presence of youth is high. Through this design competition, we intend to reimagine these 9 locations in a way that it allows youth and other visitors to enjoy their leisure time more safely and comfortably. All the 9 locations identified are within the walking distance of a higher education institute, which is the primary reason for higher footfall of youth at these locations. WRI India has documented the existing character of all these locations, including visitor profiles, activity mapping, total station surveys, photo and videographic documentations, and etc. For each of these locations, WRI India calls young architects and urban design and planning professionals to study these locations and choose the locations that they intend to improve through their designs. With the district administration of Rohtak as one partners of the Safer Mobility for Youth project, WRI India intends to leverage this partnership and get winning designs for each of the 9 locations implemented on ground. It is for this reason that after the competition, WRI India will engage the winning teams for the development of tender level drawings as an additional work beyond the scope of this competition and shall be compensated separately. Today on 30th September 2021, WRI India is launching the design competition under the project Safer Mobility for Youth, which will span over 3 months. The registration will start today and will be open till 6th of October 2021. Each team can select up to 3 sites for the competition. The participants are welcome to raise any queries and clarification till 20th of October 2021. The last date of submission of concept notes and design is on 5th November 2021. At stage 1, 5 to 10 concept notes per site will be shortlisted by the jury, which will be announced on 22nd October 2021. For the second stage, the participants are needed to submit the preliminary designs for all the sites by 3rd December 2021. At this stage, 5 designs per site will be shortlisted for the next stage, which will be announced on 13th of December 2021. At stage 3, on 18th December 2021, the participants shall present their concept and design to the jury, and final winners will be announced on 19th of December 2021. Through this competition, students and young professionals will get an opportunity to add value in a 2-tier city, which is primarily for youth and can address the real-time issues. Thank you all. And with this background, I would now like to invite architect C.R. Raju, President of the Indian Institute of Architects, to give a few words of encouragement to the young professional and launch the Mahara Rohtak placemaking competition. We welcome you, sir, and over to you.
Friends, I bring warm greetings to you from the Indian Institute of Architects. I think the World Resources Institute is an organization which is spearheading a lot of initiatives across the world. And I'm very glad to know that they have now intervening in some of the cities and trying to, rejuvenate the public spaces with a lot of new ideas. And in this process, I think they have now selected Rohtak, and 9 places in Rohtak they have been identified for organizing a design competition, which will bring about ideas for good mobility and usage of those public spaces. In India, we have seen, though the cities and towns have grown exponentially over so many years, some of the public spaces have not received the attention they require. So it's all moved towards private spaces, and there is a lot of improvement in private spaces and their design and intervention and all that. But coming to public spaces, I think we have a lot to do. And I think this initiative by the World Resources Institute is a good effort in bringing about an awareness, first of all, that our public spaces are to be made in such a way that they are sustainable, that they are user-friendly, and invite a social, gathering of people, especially youngsters. And I also saw the differently abled people, how they will be able to come and use these places, and their mobility and various aspects of the urban fabric, which will strengthen our social life among all the sections of society. So this competition, which is organized in 9 locations, I think is a good opportunity for youngsters to come forward and share their ideas, put them together, and then see them implemented. See, ultimately, drawings don't make the ultimate result, but we have to transform that into reality, and that reality has to be experienced by the people who are using it, and then only we can get the outcomes. So our interest should be in the outcome of the whole exercise, and then work towards that. And I think Vaibhav has put a lot of effort in this, organizing this competition. And there are 9 places where people can work, and so you have opportunities in different places. And I also have come to know that once the design is selected, I think the concerned persons will be involved in the implementation. That is the most important thing, because that's gives them a lot of impetus to take part in the whole design and take it forward and implement it in a contextual, and also in that particular area where a lot of input from the public see, because any public space when you design, I think the public also should be involved. Whatever solutions you might offer, if it is alien to the public, then it may not serve the purpose. So I think that also will be done once the ideas are thrown open by the various participants, and you have an excellent jury to go through this submit the entries, and then some of them are selected and good for implementation. I think then there will be a contextual public dialogue also, so that and the authorities and most important thing is how to sustain these interventions what we are doing. That is one more important aspect, that whenever we do such efforts in areas, they have to be sustained. See, if you see most of the Western countries, I think the public spaces, some of the countries, they are dealing with public spaces in a very, very exponential manner. So they are sustained for a long time. You see what has been done 50 years back, it is sustained even now in most of the places. I think that requires a very large coordinated effort by not only the people who do this, but the authorities who maintain these things and the public who use it. Everybody has to be conscious of the fact that these are public spaces and these are all not a one-off thing, and a coordinated effort in developing these kind of places, I think goes a long way in developing the social fabric of the cities and towns. And recently I also came across one such intervention in Bangalore, in one of the street, a commercial street, where it has been cordoned off for public vehicles over time, and then how the street has been completely changed into a public space. People can come, they can have good pedestrian spaces, they can sit and relax for some time, and those kind of interventions are a very good example of how interventions can be done in existing areas also. But more than all that, I think one of the examples that what you are trying to do in Rohtak is an eye-opener for everybody, so that these kind of examples can be taken forward in other places, in other cities. But it is of very great value that the World Resources Institute is doing this in many countries. And I think India is a very growing economy, and the towns and cities are bursting at their seams, with people, too many people at every place. Every state, though they have so much population, but still people are moving towards cities and towns for employment, for education, for health, for so many reasons. And so that gives us more the importance of how to deal with these public spaces, so that everybody will feel comfortable. And the entire design, the fraternity will be able to contribute a lot in this effort. And in this particular case, I think the participants in the competition are going to be youngsters. So that gives it a much more thrust, because today we see a lot of youngsters have excellent ideas, and this is going to give them an opportunity to bring forward and try their the ideas what they have. And the other, once the ideas are put forward and gives them the confidence, then it is a good plus point for them to in their career they can look forward that their designs are accepted, they are workable, and they're implementable, and that appreciation will give them a lot of confidence to do much more in urban design initiatives and various aspects. So I take this opportunity to appreciate the entire organizers, the World Research Institute, World Resources Institute, the entire team in India, and to Vaibhav, who is coordinating this, and the various other participants in this. Wish you all the very best, and thank you so much.
Thank you, sir, for those kind words and launching the Mahara Rohtak competition. I hope this will encourage young professionals to participate in this competition. And thank you, Nikhil, for explaining the project to the audience. Since all the sites are in Rohtak and I have been working in the city for some time now, I will quickly give an overview of the city to help participants contextualize their designs. Situated about 70 kilometers from Delhi, Rohtak is one of the regional educational hubs of northern India. The city, with its municipal limits spread to about 140 square kilometers, is also the district headquarters of the Rohtak district. As per 2011 census, the city had a population of about 3,75,000 persons, which is estimated to be over 4,50,000 people as of today. The city is home to many educational institutes that have a combined enrollment estimated to be over 2 lakh students. Some of the renowned institutes located in the city are Maharishi Dayanand University, Baba Mastanath University, IIM Rohtak, and the Postgraduate Institute of Medical Sciences, which also happens to be the largest hospital and trauma care center in the region. The next closest being the AIIMS Hospital in Delhi. Most of these institutes are situated along the 5 highways that slice through the city, creating isolated neighborhoods with poor interconnectivity. thereby putting the lives of the students in danger. Currently, the city lacks a formal public transport system. The primary mode of commute in the city is the shared auto rickshaws, which are the backbone of the city's transport network. Focus surveys with children and youth under the projects being done in Rohtak by WRI India show that nearly 40% of the population uses shared auto rickshaws for different purposes in a day. Apart from shared auto rickshaws, two-wheelers are the second most used mode of commute, especially by the youth in the city. And within that, the male population are observed to use motorcycles, and the females usually travel on scooties. With most of the city functions clustered in the core of the city, a large number of people are observed to be walking to their destinations as well. However, given the non-existent infrastructure, the experience of walking is quite bad in the city, and there are only a few stretches where pedestrians can safely and comfortably walk, and these stretches are mostly in the residential sectors of the city. Safety is a big concern in the city. Through the various surveys done by WRI India, the issue of gender safety was echoed by several female respondents, many of them bringing forward their fear of traveling alone, especially after the sunset. In terms of road traffic safety, data shows that in 2017, 561 crashes were reported in Rohtak district, resulting in 252 fatalities. Similarly, in 2018, 534 crashes happened. In 2019, 512 crashes happened, resulting in 212, 205 fatalities respectively. One of the reasons for this is the poor engineering of the roads, which is further amplified by the higher speeds on the wider roads of the city. So this was Rohtak in a nutshell for everyone. The 9 locations part of this competition, once redesigned and implemented, can be a conversation starter for improving the quality of public spaces in the city. And with the Deputy Commissioner, the District Administration of Rohtak being the partners of this project, we believe that the implementation will be quick. Once again, I thank the President for launching the competition. The registrations are now open and interested participants can click on the link given in the description below. The site briefs for all of the 9 locations are also available for the participants to study and select a maximum of 3 sites which they wish to reimagine. The link to the site briefs is also provided in the description below. Finally, I would like to thank architect Sujata Hingorani for her insights and the wonderful conversation on the importance of public spaces. I would like to thank architect C.R. Raju, President, Indian Institute of Architects, and his office bearers for collaborating with WRI India in this competition. We would like to specially appreciate the support and guidance provided by architect Ashutosh Agrawal, who is the National Joint Honorary Secretary of IIA. I thank our project partners, Captain Manoj Kumar, who is the Deputy Commissioner of Rohtak, Shri Rahul Sharma ji, who is the Superintendent of Police in Rohtak, and the entire Rahagiri Foundation team headed by Ms. Sarika Panda. We also would like to thank Global Road Safety Partnership and Foundation Botnar for supporting the Safer Mobility for Youth project. And lastly, I would like to thank the WRI India team for their support and the hard work we have put in bringing this competition together. I thank you all for joining this event. Stay home and stay safe. Thank you.